It was a quiet night in 1997. Daniel Harper had just returned home from a week-long business trip. The streets were empty, the wind whispered through the trees, and his house sat silently at the end of the block. Everything seemed normal. The porch light flickered faintly, his car sat in the driveway, and the mail was neatly stacked. He inserted his key into the lock and hesitated. Something felt wrong. The air inside was heavier than usual. A faint smell lingered, a mix of old wood and something metallic. He stepped inside, and the floorboards creaked under his weight. The house was quiet, too quiet. Daniel set his suitcase down and flicked on the lights. Everything was in place: furniture, kitchenware, even the tiny figurines on the shelf. But as he moved through the living room, he noticed something odd. A chair was slightly out of place, a picture frame tilted toward the wall. He brushed it off as fatigue from travel, but then he heard it. 3 distinct knocks, coming from inside the house. Daniel froze. He knew he hadn't heard anyone enter. He was alone. The knocking repeated, slow, deliberate, almost echoing. He approached the door cautiously, but no one was there. He checked the windows, closed and locked. Nothing unusual outside. Feeling a growing unease, Daniel decided to call the police. The line was dead. Static hissed through the receiver. A faint whisper seemed to murmur something unintelligible, sending chills down his spine. Hours passed. He tried to sleep in the living room, but the house didn't allow rest. The floorboards creaked with footsteps that weren't his. The shadows in the corners shifted when he wasn't looking. At one point, he returned to the front door to double-check the locks. The night outside was silent, the street lamp casting long, distorted shadows on the porch. Daniel shut the door firmly. By midnight, neighbors reported hearing the familiar 3 knocks again. They assumed it was a prank or someone moving in next door, but Daniel never came outside. The next morning, police arrived. Daniel's car was still in the driveway. His suitcase lay where he had left it. The front door was ajar, and Daniel was gone. No signs of struggle, no forced entry, nothing stolen. Inside the house, the phone was off the hook. A faint sound, like static, could be heard. Technicians later analyzed the line and claimed to hear a voice repeating, "He's still outside." The investigation went on for months. Family and friends searched tirelessly. No leads, no sightings, no activity on credit cards or accounts. It was as if Daniel had vanished from reality itself. But the story didn't end there. A year later, a new family moved into the same house. Late at night, the wife reported 3 soft knocks on the front door. No one was there when her husband checked. The porch light flickered just like the night Daniel disappeared. Neighbors continued to notice strange occurrences, faint whispers inside, objects shifting slightly, and shadows moving independently. The house seemed alive. One retired officer who responded to Daniel's initial disappearance said he would never forget the faint outline of a handprint on the inside of the door, as if someone had been trying to leave, not enter. Over the years, more reports came in. Lights flickering without reason, doors creaking open by themselves, shadows moving in corners, always just out of reach. Some say the house keeps a memory of its occupants. It remembers fear. It observes curiosity. It waits. Visitors describe a feeling of being watched, a cold draft following them, and the sensation that time slows inside the house. The story of Daniel Harper became local legend. A warning whispered among neighbors. Never enter after dark. Never knock on the door. Some doors you never open again. Even today, people claim to hear the faint 3 knocks late at night. Sometimes objects move slightly. Sometimes shadows stretch across the walls. The house waits patiently. For its next visitor, for its next story, for someone to become part of its memory. Daniel Harper may never be found, and perhaps the house is still watching, waiting for the moment someone knocks on a door they will never come back through.